Let's talk about the report wizard. So once you've finished your evaluation, you're going to get a little pop-up like this that you can generate your report now, or you can say, hey, I'll do it later. So it doesn't matter which one you do. I'm going to click I'll do it later because I'm going to show you how you can go back into your report wizard and select your to create a new report, because sometimes you may want to create a report that has more than just the evaluation, and maybe you haven't actually done the other steps yet. So remember that you have assessments that you could add. So if you've done any standardized assessments, etc., you would add them here in this sort of like your library later. You also have forms. So forms would be, as you remember, there's lots of different forms. If you've sent these out to caregivers or teachers and you want to gather more information, once they come back, they're going to be here. So one of the forms that I really recommend doing is the Engage S. So the Engage S is a participation-based form. So it's a very, very short form, but it rates participation in most of the domains. And so if you have sent this out, or perhaps you've sent out the brief sensory questionnaire or whatever, you may want to use these to merge in with your evaluation that you did with the student. So let's go to Report Wizard. So here you will see all of the reports generated for, like, in the order of most recent to more less recently. Also, if you're ever looking for your reports that you have already generated for a student, you will find them under your student. So if I actually put in Ivy, I can look here, I can see all the guided evaluations, but I can also go here and see all the reports that have been pulled. And I can go ahead, if I click them, I can pull them up and see what they are. Okay, but let's say we're going to create a new report. So first of all, you're going to select the student that you want. And the start date basically just means this is the filter. What are the date ranges of the information that you're looking to merge into your report? So let's say you did the evaluation today. Well, maybe you can just leave it like this because you know it's going to automatically capture this. But if you're like, I want to see, like, maybe you're in the habit of sending out a check-in form to the teacher or the parent every month, you may want to click last 6 months so that way it can pull that. Or you can also just enter your own information in as you want to. So this is helpful because if you're doing you want to look at progress, you may need to go back like a year ago or something like that. Now, remember that the guided evaluations are OT Wizard specific, and so are the forms. So, we just started this like in 2025. So, it's not going to pull back other evaluations that you've done outside of OT Wizard. All right, so we go to configure the report. So this is basically, you have to sort of just get familiar with the different types of reports, but the full evaluation report is just that. It's going to be more comprehensive. It's longer. We have the abbreviated evaluation, and it's pretty short. It's going to be about 3 pages. We have progress, we have the forms analysis, and we have the therapy attendance report. So for the full evaluation report, you have a couple of choices for the audience. So this just means how you want it to display and terminology and things like that. So if you're billing insurance, this is going to be you. If you work for a school and this is IEP language, this. And then you'll see on some of these, the target audience may be parent. This is a more watered down version. You may want to give them both, but this might be something that you give them that would just be a little less specific, less long. You just look at it and see what you think. Abbreviated evaluation, same thing. We have a parent-friendly one. This is very short. This one excludes specific scores for the most part and just really writes it out of more of like strengths and weaknesses. We have a teacher focused one, and then we have a therapist focused. So when you see one that says therapist focused, I like to think of it as being like therapist or clinical or clinician insights. anytime you see this one is for your eyes only. It's not to be shared with parent, with an IEP team, etc., because it may have some information in there that is outside of the terminology that's typically used, but just sort of things, they're tools for us clinicians and maybe some thinking outside the box. So progress notes would be more of, and this term may be changed in the future, but progress is more like, let's call it progress. That would be like if you have a couple of different data points from way back, like maybe 6 months ago, if you're doing a reevaluation and you want to be able to include 2 of them for it to be able to create more of a progress note, you may want to do that to actually really see how much progress they've made. So I think that's pretty clear. The forms analysis here, this one is just specific. So that way, if you have a lot of different forms, like let's say, if you have a school rating and a parent rating for a couple different ones, this one might be something that you want to use just to really dig down and get more information about how the student is seen by parents and or teachers or other raters. And then you have the therapist attendance report. It's for either one of these. They're pretty much the same report, but this is more or less just going to just tell you how many sessions that they have attended and give you kind of a number of minutes and things like that. So this one is a pretty brief one. It's like a half pager. If you also just wanted to tell you, if you do either one of these, you can still include forms on it. Will still integrate and merge in the forms. This one is just specific to forms. But let's just say that I was going to do an abbreviated evaluation, and today I wanted it to be medical based. I would go in and I would select my data. So it was like, okay, hey, these are all your appointments, and everything's unchecked first. I'm not interested in adding my appointments, and we don't actually, for my therapy group, we don't use appointments and documentation here at this point because we have to put all of ours on an EMR. But if you do, this is a great way to maybe help it to say things like, Ivy was seen for blah, 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 number of visits and things like that. Let's say for today, we're going to not move. We're not going to use any of this. We're not going to use session notes. So what I would need to do is I would need to decide which evaluations that I'm looking at. Now, typically you only have 1 or 2 evaluations on here. I'm do all kinds of crazy things and test these made up students. So that's why there's so many on here, but it'll also show you the date and the score, the composites on there to help you and the type of the template that was used. So I'm going to choose that one. And then on forms and questionnaires for this particular one, I'm going to be like, yep, I want the engage. And then I also want to look at this too. I excluded that one. I sent it to the parent, but I decided after reading it that the parent was confused and I don't think that it's valid. So I'm not going to use it. And then if you had any assessments, like if you had information in for this, you could absolutely use it. So for the sake of today, I'm not going to, and I just generate my AI report just like that. And so in 30 seconds to a minute or 2, depending on what time of day it is and how busy the internet is, will give you your report. Okay, so as it is finishing the report, I am going to pause here, and then the next video will actually about how to read your report and understand it. All right, coming up next.